west side wind blowing off Santa Monica Bay and right over the Palisades, welcoming you into Westwood and Drake Stadium, home of the biggest crowds in Pac-12 soccer. Tonight on the net, two teams looking for the exact same thing. Colorado and UCLA hoping for a late season surge. It's all live on the Pac-12 networks. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Westwood. Jim Watson and Tammy Blackburn. Well, let's talk about UCLA. It's been a disappointment so far. No easy way to sugarcoat this thing. They were number 4 in the country to start. Now they're sitting 7th in the conference. Well, maybe they need to find their rhythm with a little help from their DJ, Darian Jenkins.
Well, that's right. And this is a player that can score. There's 10 different players for UCLA who have scored this season, and she's a team leading with 5 goals. Darian Jenkins, who oftentimes in that front runner position will get the ball in the end of her foot, and she'll find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. Going to be incredibly important for her today against Colorado to be able to score and work with the other front runners who will sit with her. Taylor Smith being one of them, the nice scorer right there. You see Jenkins and the creativity that she has on the ball.
Similar issues for Colorado. This is a team that's going through a tough stretch right now, winless in their last 5. Still time to turn it around and become a winning team. If you're looking for an example of transformation, how about Maddie Krauser?
Yeah, that transformation. How about the change from her being in the attacking position all the way going to that back line? But the good news for Colorado is Krauser. She's very good and dynamic in terms of her ability to get forward, and so from that back line she's able to be dynamic and move the ball throughout the field and get that ball up to the front runners for Colorado who can score.
So if UCLA is looking for a place to turn their season around, this might be it, because they've won 4 in a row in this series. Colorado hasn't beaten the Bruins since 2010, and they've never beaten them here in Los Angeles. So it's Colorado and UCLA both showing up looking for the same thing, a reboot to a disappointing season so far. It's the Buffs and the Bruins coming up next from Westwood on a warm night in Southern California on the Pac-12 networks.
By Pure Silk. Pure Silk moisturizing cream for legs that look and feel like pure silk.
That is the world-famous Griffith Observatory. Do yourself a favor, get in there and see the stars indoors. That's a great day, Tammy. I don't know if you've ever done it before. UCLA comes in 6-7-1. They're 2-3-1 in conference. Taylor Smith, the co-captain, 26 career goals, 9 of those the game-winning variety. Darian Jenkins also has 9 game-winning goals. That's tied for 11th all-time in UCLA history. And they're looking for answers with Siri Ervik, the 3rd goalkeeper to start. She's been beaten once in 3 starts. Colorado 7-6-2, but just 1-4-1 in conference. Bria Hooks leads them in scoring 4 goals and 5 assists, but she's not in the starting lineup. Michaela Kraus gets her 5th start. She has a game-winning goal this year. Danica Evans, transfer from Portland, 3 goals and 3 assists. And Kate Sheely is in the pipes for the visiting Buffs from Boulder. Colorado will be wearing their traveling grays with white shorts. UCLA in the home dark black jerseys with blue trim. It is a beautiful night on the west side. It's 61, but it feels more like 70 degrees because there's not much wind at all. Just a few puffy clouds over the west side of Los Angeles as the sun sets, and a flip throw from Colorado on the first sequence of the afternoon. Both of these teams, you could make the argument, are better than their records, but nobody cares about that now. No one wants to hear about injuries or bad luck, tough breaks. All they want to know is how many wins do you have, how many points. UCLA comes in 7th in this conference. Buffalo is 10th. UCLA has only been beaten by CU 1 time. That was back in 2010, and that was in Boulder. So Colorado's never won here. Tammy, one of the things that Amanda Cromwell, the UCLA head coach, told us on our conference call this week was we need to slow things down. Why does a team want to slow things down in soccer?
Well, sometimes, the possession is really good for UCLA. I mean, this is a team, don't forget, they just lost to Oregon State up there at Oregon State, and they had worked and had great practice working against Oregon State's back line, where they knew going in that they were an organized back line. They were going to see 2 walls of 4 defenders each. And so possession was the key, and UCLA can get things going on possession. They're a better team now. It's not that they don't want to run, and it's not that Amanda Cromwell, the head coach right there in her 3rd season with a 49-9-6 record, doesn't understand the skill set of this team. But slowing it down, possessing, being able to run out of the field of play, and just try to create some things.
That was Danica Evans with the takeover at midfield for Colorado. And then after 2 touches, she took a shot from 40 yards out. So Colorado looks like they want to be an aggressive team tonight. Offensively, Colorado is 9th in the conference. UCLA is 8th. Both teams coming off a loss. UCLA lost 2-1 against Oregon State up north. And Colorado actually is winless in their last 5. They just lost to Stanford, the number 4 team in the country, 2-1. Danny Sanchez, 4th season in Boulder. He led the Buffs to the NCAA tournament the last 2 seasons. And last year, a program best 3rd place finish in the Pac-12. They went to the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament.
He knows how important this weekend is, saying that we absolutely have to get something out of the weekend. Jim, it's really interesting. These 2 teams come in at this point in time of the season, about 5 games left for each of these teams, including tonight. Both of these teams desperately need a win. UCLA looking for 10 wins. There is absolutely no more leadway for this team, and Amanda Cromwell saying that to UCLA. Danny Sanchez talking to his team about the importance of road wins.
You're right, Tammy. It comes down to this weekend for both of these teams. It's time to turn it around. They not only have to get wins, they got to get momentum. They got to figure out their identity. It's so late in the season to still be trying to figure out who you are. Here comes Colorado. They played most of the first few minutes on the left side of midfield. Colorado is 5th in shots, and so that means Siri Ervik is going to be tested today. Siri, the redshirt freshman from Oslo, Norway, went 85 minutes of shutout soccer before allowing a goal to Arizona in that 5-1 win. Shut out Arizona State over the final 96 minutes. An early loss when she allowed the 2 goals at Corvallis in the last start.
You know what I like about what she says is that she understands it, and it's been a season of rotating goalkeepers for Amanda Cromwell and UCLA. She understands that she's got to continue to work hard.
There's Kate Sheely at the other end for Colorado. They've gone back and forth between Scout Watson and Kate Sheely. Kate came off the bench at Stanford last week and blanked the number 4 team in the country over the second 45 minutes. She's had a really good career. A transfer at Colorado. In her 2nd year, she already has 14 clean sheets and 21 victories.
So neither of these teams having a solid keeper that has started every single match this season using rotating keepers, whether that's for illness or in the case of UCLA. Amanda Cromwell says that she had seen some goalkeepers having some good training and practice. They had yet to give Siri a chance and said, absolutely, why not?
Yeah, different reasons. Sheely had been sick and missed a couple of games. That's why Scout Watson had come off the bench. But look at the numbers. The goals against average, number 1, Colorado all-time. She's 4th in shutouts, 4th in wins, and she still has a big piece of this season in front of her. She started her career at Colorado College, and she's a really interesting character as well, as most goalkeepers are. I think goalkeepers in soccer are like field goal kickers in football. Nobody quite understands them.
And they have a lot going on in their head. They have to sort of reconcile all those things going on in their head
Practice
in terms of moments.
Over by themselves. Here's Zoe Koralski, who's been great setting other players up and distributing. And maybe like catchers in baseball too, huh? Hockey goaltenders. Koralski with a soft touch, wanted a little bit more on that. Gave it right over to the Colorado defense. Buffs defense is 7th in the conference. UCLA has had a problem at the defensive end. They are 11th out of 12 teams. UCLA has scored 20 goals and allowed 20 goals so far.
They're finally settling into what is their starting back line for UCLA, but Amanda Cromwell has used several players and tried different field players in that defensive back line just to try to figure out, what is working.
There's Claire Winter. Claire Winter making her 7th consecutive start. Redshirt sophomore from Lafayette up in the Bay Area, East Bay. Yeah, you mentioned all the players that Amanda Cromwell has moved in and out of the starting lineup. 20 players have started for UCLA. 11 of those, Tammy, first-year starters.
Yeah, and it's really remarkable. You talk about the tale of 2 different seasons. Last year, 2014.
It's Taylor Smith with her first touch of the game. And a one-time volley right off the spot. Didn't get to the target, though.
That stifling defense of UCLA last year. They shut out 19 of 24 opponents. They lost all 4 defenders. So that's why some of the change for UCLA is we see them at the opposite end of the field Then the defense, they're down there trying to create something in the box, put those numbers in the box. Nothing happening for them. And, Jim, it was a team early on for UCLA that when I saw this team early against Wisconsin, they were focusing on making runs, getting the ball in line, some great things happening, try to hit the ball at the far post, get to the near post, make some slot runs, and things were working pretty well.
We knew UCLA would be a completely different team. 9 starters from last year gone. Smith and Alvarado, the only returners, number 14 and number 2. And once again, here comes Colorado. Colorado's had some free run from midfield all the way to the top of the 18 so far. Like to see a bit more resistance from UCLA's back line. A little unsure where to go with it here. Claire Winter plays that ball up to midfield. UCLA just trying to clear the zone. Danica Evans is wearing those orange boots for Colorado. You wear orange shoes, you better be pretty good, and she is. She's a transfer from Portland. She was all WCC there. And she has 3 goals and 3 assists for Colorado, so you can wear whatever color shoes you want if you score that much.
She basically came back home. She's from Lakewood, Colorado, played for the Colorado Edge, Colorado Rush club teams.
It's a bump between Winter and Evans right there. Both players put their hands in the air. No call so far. Victor Rivas, our official, letting them play. Alvarado missed it. It was out of her reach. Here's Victor Rivas, Kristen Patterson, Renee Nunez, the referee's assistants today. I like when we're 9 minutes in before we identify the referee. He's going to let them kind of police themselves early, and then if need be, he starts blowing the whistle. Darian Jenkins there wearing those twin ones on the home black and blues for UCLA. Going to be a big threat tonight. She's their leading scorer with 5 tallies. Back to Goralski. Taylor Smith was on the left. Now she's on the right. It'll be a throw in for the Bruins.
Heather, well done there. Well done. Now we find our shape. Not too deep, Heather.
Josh Origel was there defensively for Colorado.
Oh, coming in. Squeeze out one side.
There goes Colorado moving forward now. Michaela Kraus, we talked about her at the top.
Great step, though. Big step by Haley Mace. Nice job for her to step in and create some offense.
And Mace is another of those young players who's getting time, getting opportunities. Haley Mace, freshman from Ventura, Buena High School, just about 30 minutes north of this field.
She's the first freshman to start a match this year for UCLA. I really love it to see. She's got quick. You just see that step in and what she's able to create, move that ball forward. She can absolutely fly out of the back. I've been watching some film and scouting this UCLA team since my non-conference game earlier versus Wisconsin right here at UCLA, and she really does have a great first step, but speed is really her asset.
Mesa making her 11th consecutive start, leads all freshmen in minutes. Both of these teams expected to be better than their conference records. UCLA 2-3-1 sits in 7th. Colorado is 10th at 1-4-1. On the UCLA side, 10 of their 14 matches have been decided by a single goal. Loose ball in front, dangerous time here. Colorado needs to clear. And they do for the moment. Stepping into it from the 18. UCLA had another good look at it. It was Alvarado. And UCLA's 2 best shots so far have been deflected almost at the point of contact. No challenges on Kate Shealy, the keeper for Colorado, but that was some nervous time.
That's right, and that ball came right out of that pack and scrambled to the foot of Annie Alvarado. I thought she had a great look, but defense steps up and ricochets that ball off for Colorado.
Alvarado taking that ball on a bounce and drove it, but no saves for either keeper so far. Goralski trying to go to Cody Lavruski right in the middle of the field. Linking players from one zone to another has been a problem for UCLA. We expected them to have growing pains this year because of all the changes. When you lose 9 starters, you're basically starting over. And coming way off her line, Siri Ervik.
Back to that corner kick just moments ago, and you see the ball, a couple dangerous areas, and Claire Winter almost gets her foot on it. That ball's loose, and there it is. It comes out of the pack, and how about Papalardo turning around and getting that ball ricocheted?
Yeah, you don't want to take it off the face because that ball's moving. You can see Alvarado set that ball up, settle it, and step in and drive it with the right foot. It was a good header by Jenkins, who headed it backwards into the danger zone. Colorado has 7 one-goal games this year, and they're 4-3 in those. So both of these teams accustomed to playing it pretty close. I was talking with Amanda Cromwell before the match, and I said something, and she agreed with it. And Tammy, I'd like to get your opinion. I think the difference in the Pac-12 this year is that the teams at the bottom and the teams in the middle have made the biggest strides. So they've closed that gap. Certainly Stanford is the best team in this conference. Unbeaten after winning last night, still top of the table. But everybody else has really bunched together.
There's absolutely no doubt. I totally agree with that. And, Amanda Cromwell brings up a good point. That's just great development, though, of the Pac-12. And I think, a season like this is going to help UCLA, those growing pains that you talked about.
That's a nice ball by Alvarado, but no help there. And coming out, Shealy spills it. Almost gave one up. Lavruski couldn't turn around. In comes Claire Winter, fighting for it. And here comes Colorado. So the Buffs have been fortunate a couple of times. Evans at midfield. And whatever counterattack Colorado was trying to mount, UCLA snuffed it out. Boy, Shealy came out and made what should have been a simple save dramatic. And then once she went down and lost the handle, all the Bruins pounced. Just couldn't get the shot off. Into the 15th minute. No score in Westwood. Jim Watson, Tammy Blackburn on the Pac-12 networks. Big weekend of soccer. Colorado and Utah in town. All the way out, UCLA switches. Here comes Kowalski. Kowalski's been playing that ball into the middle of the field. This time it was to Jenkins, and then she plays outside to Taylor, but too strong and out.
Let's go back to the spill by Shealy, and Kate Shealy minding in the net. It looks like she has control, but then her knee, that knee hit the ground. The knee actually looked like it popped it out of her hands, and that ball got dangerously loose. Thank God there was nobody for UCLA sitting in front of her, at least for Colorado, thank goodness.
That was Jenkins, who almost poached it for UCLA, came in late on it. Smith head up at midfield. Plays it forward to Jenkins. Couldn't collect, now trying to track it down. Again, Shealy comes out. Contact in the box. And the foul is going to be on Jenkins. Papalardo there defensively for Colorado. And just riding Jenkins all the way to the ground.
Well, we talked about UCLA, just slowing things down, but here's where they can speed things up. I mean, if they're going to possess and they're going to switch the field of play, they've been doing a nice job of working through that back line as well as Annie Alvarado, and I like what Goralski's been doing as well. But you've got speed. You've got Jenkins. You've got Taylor Smith. They can run on you. Smith making a diagonal cut right now, thinking that maybe Jenkins might turn with her back to the net, get that ball and hit her. Good ideas.
Tammy, let me fix that. That was Alex Hune who made the defensive play for Colorado. I want to give credit where it's due. It was a good hustle back and helped out her keeper. There she is. Alex Hune, the junior from New South Wales in Australia. Against Stanford, Colorado only had one shot, and it came from her. And she's a defender. That's how good Stanford is. Plays for the Australian U20 team.
Speaking of Stanford, well, we have just a quick second, and we talked about the graphic that we saw with the standings there. Hard not to congratulate Stanford on the undefeated season, but how about the win from them last night in a thriller in Pullman, Washington, a double overtime game. First game winner for Avery Collins of Stanford.
Stanford has watched UCLA win the last 2 conference championships. And you could say, certainly last year, those teams were pretty even. I mean, the game here was great.
They've got a great team experience, but how about all 5 freshman field players? All now have a game winner on the stat sheet. You talk about the future of Stanford Cardinals soccer.
It's nice distribution. Sarah Kinzer there for Colorado. Doesn't really want to throw it in. Looking for help. Kinzer from Calgary has been their most consistent player, according to Danny Sanchez, their head coach. She plays for the Canadian national team, the U17s, the U20s.
It's just a great move right there with the ball at the feet for Taylor Smith. I mean, she knew that the defense, she just went right against the grain of the defense. The defense had momentum coming right at her. She went right back to center, had a lot of field in front of her to try to play that ball. That play started in the throw-in with Annie Alvarado stepping up, getting that ball up the sideline. Cody Lavrovsky had her foot on it, then all the way over. So a real nice job of UCLA that you can see they're trying to work hard and link with each other.
Winner. Plays it back. UCLA going to change the point of attack. Played in over the top and headed away by Colorado. No score into the 19th minute, but this game hasn't been without drama. Most of it right in front of the Colorado cage. Jenkins had it poked away quickly.
Good effort by Madison Ty to try to get that ball. UCLA turned the ball over. She tried to step up and get the ball right back, something that UCLA has been focusing on. When they turn the ball over, how quickly can they try to get the ball back?
Papalardo dispossessed, and here comes UCLA. They have numbers. Lavrovsky, middle of the park. Kenzie Serta out on that left side for UCLA. Colorado has been giving her some attention, so her possessions have been abbreviated. Taylor Smith one time, knocked out, corner kick for the Bruins. And UCLA is one of those teams that goes quickly, usually, on corner kicks. Danny Sanchez in his fourth season. When Sanchez got to Boulder, he took over a team that had won just 4 games. 3 years later, they were in the NCAA tournament. And they've been there 2 years in a row now. That's good work. And doing it in this conference, not easy. That ball rejected back out, but not controlled. Colorado's been fortunate.
Break down, defend.
If you're a UCLA fan, you probably figure you should have scored. Goralski to Taylor Smith. Takes on 2 defenders and still goes tweeners and forces it to the gloves of Kate Sheely. Kate Sheely, who's bilingual, she speaks Spanish, says she wants to be a history teacher. And how about this for a family? Her mom, Suzanne, played water polo at Harvard. Her dad, Leonard, pro cyclist. Both of her parents, retired doctors. Her brother, Steve, wrestled at Stanford and now goes to law school at Michigan. I want them to adopt me. Everyone's successful in that house.
The bloodlines are pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, she transferred from Colorado College in 2014, where she started all of those, .76 goals against average. First team Conference USA. At Conference USA Tournament Defensive MVP in 2013. Her numbers are pretty darn good. Really, she is giving Danny Sanchez all the reasons in the world to keep her in and mind that net.
Evans came in to challenge Goralski. Colorado just forcing UCLA against that touchline all the way down.
You know, and Colorado's back line is very organized. And not surprisingly, I mean, they're very well coached. They keep a very well-shaped back line there, and you saw them all moving as UCLA was trying to move up the left flank.
Alex Vidger coming in. And Michaela Kraus going out. Michaela's from San Diego, so she's probably got some family here, and Vidger's a Castle Rock, Colorado kid. Colorado's roster is balanced both at the top and the bottom. They have 8 seniors, they have 9 freshmen. And they have as many players from California, 9, as they do from Colorado. And there she is, Comes right into the game, and Vidger gets a touch within 10 seconds. Looks like she could be playing that holding midfielder role. Sarah Kinzer now works her way across. And turned back. Madison Krauser, far side. Now all the way over to Jess Origel.
Well, you know, Vidger checking into this ballgame is good. I mean, she's a great defensive support. She was a Defensive Player of the Year coming out of high school. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, she was 2 times named the Defensive Player of the Year from Rock Canyon High School. In that holding mid position, she can support that back line, but she's also a great link and a connector for this Colorado team when they want to get ready to move forward, whether that's counterattack or building it up from the back.
Keep it up, Flag! Inside. Double D!
Jenkins looked like she took that one off her chin, out of bounds. Throw in for Colorado. Emily Paxton there for the Buffs. Comes out with a little smile on her face.
She's always smiling.
Couple of goals, 3 assists this year.
How about the game winner against Cal in the 106th minute?
Yeah, you saw it. How good was it?
Oh, it was so good. But we're going to take a look at how good this flip throw is.
That's Evans.
Danica Evans.
Came to the edge of the 18. If you're looking at flip throws, get some tape on Arizona. Shot and saved by Siri Eric. Barely. But she was tracking it and got over there with the gloves. Tip it away. It's Evans from way outside the 18, and this ball might have gotten to the corner.
Athletic ability, great read by Ervik. Siri just launches in the air, gets her right hand on it. That ball could have easily gone to the upper V, upper left-hand corner there. What a shot. And a big-time save.
Leads to a corner kick, so the assault is only paused. It's not over. Go to the near post, but on the ground, kind of a miss hit. I'm sure they were expecting more from that. 25th minute, no score. UCLA was dominating the offense for a good 10 minutes of this half. Now Colorado responding. That was the best shot of the match so far by Evans.
Great shot.
Either side. You know, she struck that from 30 yards out, and still Ervik had to go all the way to the far post, leave her feet, and parry it away.
You know, I'm equally impressed with that shot and the save. I mean, 2 really good plays, one offensively, one defensively.
Keep going. Stay like that.
Lovruski's going to win this one for UCLA. Nope, didn't get there in time. Chipped in by Joss Origel, who's another Southern California kid. Let's take a look at that shot again.
It's worth looking at.
This just got more and more serious.
Yeah, this is right about 30 yards, Jim Watson. Good call, because you got the 18-yard box, and she was about 10, 12 beyond that.
Did she have to short leg that too because the defender was challenging?
It was very good defense trying to come out. She might have short legged it just a bit, but I still thought that, man, I thought she got
that's a heavy ball from 30 yards.
It is a heavy ball.
Shealy comes out to collect. Shealy is from Seattle originally.
She's got great distribution with her feet. She's athletic. Now, she comes from that under-18 U.S. team training camp, so she's trained with the best of them and has been part of that for the last several years.
Bruins moving forward. Mackenzie Sorta now plays it into the middle, and eventually comes over to Darian Jenkins. Well played defensively again. Colorado has been very good at this end. Joss Origel, we were just talking about her. She comes from Tustin.
Well, she's the one that sent the corner in for Emily Paxton to make that goal in the 106th minute against Cal, that game winner. It was beautifully placed, and I thought Paxton created a lot of space on that backside. Origel sent the ball to the far post. Paxton got some space away from Cal and then put the ball in. She just slotted it in between the post defender and the post sitting right in front of her. It was amazing. She said it was hands down the most exciting goal of her career.
You'll always remember those.
I'll pick her up.
A little overlapping by Jenkins. Now taps it back. And missed winner. Has to track it down. A lot of space right there, though.
Side right. Maddie, runner! Away!
Taylor couldn't collect. Right at the edge of the 6. If she had, it would have been one-on-one. That was a pretty good cross.
It was a great cross. And from my angle, I couldn't tell if that was head height for her to be able to take that. She sticks her right foot out trying to settle. Doesn't quite do so.
That ball was dipping. She couldn't get her head on it. It was a tweener. Taylor Smith on the Matt Kerman Award watch list.
I mean, that ball kind of ran out from her right at the last second. I think that's why she had to shoot her right leg out as far as she could.
Taylor's probably the best example of how aggravating and frustrating the season's been for UCLA. A great talent. Of course, she was part of the national championship team here 2 years ago, but she missed time. She threw an elbow against North Carolina, got red carded, and they kept her out 2 games because of that. And she violated some team rules later in the season and was kept out for 3 games. So she's missed 5 games for this team.
She's got 2 goals on the season. She's taken the second most shots on goal for this team with 10.
And she's missed a third of the season.
It's been 14 games, and she's missed 5. So the 9 games that she has played, she has started all of those.
Kowalski, winner in Alvarado. And Shane has been together most of the day. Colorado picks it off. Papalardo. She's tripped up in the center circle. Well, there's a couple of other players, and they come from Stanford that are on that MAC trophy list. Andy Sullivan has 5 goals, and Jane Campbell 5 shutouts. Stanford, obviously the best team in this conference right now. Can they run the table, or are they going to get beat?
Yeah, they can run the table. The thing is that there's been teams that have challenged them, but they are just so good. And those 5 shutouts, how about some clean sheets from Jane Campbell? Washington State. Yeah.
Just last night. All right, so now it's a free kick for Colorado at midfield. But you'll notice that's their goalkeeper there in the all orange. She didn't take it, but she could have, because she could put it on frame from there. They just used her as a decoy. Taken away, and the Bruins can go. Serta has Lavruski just inside, lays it out in front of her. Lavruski running on, got her head up early. And a sweep tackle and a nice one by Heather Ward. Senior on the back line, hustling down.
Heather, way to get back. Well done.
Heather Ward's a good story. She broke her foot last year, and Danny Sanchez says she's actually responded well from that. Coming off the injury, it's been a bounce-back year for her, and she's been important for this team.
I mean, she's had to track back nicely there. Lavruski's got some speed, and Lavruski's also very crafty with the ball. I mean, it was a great run for UCLA, but Heather Ward tracking back the speed and takes that ball away.
We're still waiting to see Bree Hooks come into the game for Colorado. Leading scorer with 4, leads them in assists with 5, and yet not starting. Bit of intrigue. Jenkins to Goralski right at the touchline. Tried to cut it back. Boy, Papalardo doesn't get fooled very often. She doesn't go for the head fakes. Seems to know players are right foot heavy. Stays on that side. Alex Vigdor. Vigdor came in as a substitute.
She's not actually playing the holding mid position for Colorado. And she's been pushing forward with some of the forward players for Colorado. Bree Hooks comes in. She's great on the playmaking. She's second in the Pac-12 in assists. And you can put the ball at her feet. She can link up with some of the players. Colorado would love to get on the scoreboard early, especially on the road. That has been something that has challenged UCLA all year long, is that they let their opponents get on the scoreboard early, and then they find themselves having to come from behind.
and they haven't done it very often. They're 1-6 when allowing the first goal, UCLA. Are we going to finally see Bree Hooks? And here she comes. The junior from Maple Valley, Washington, right at the southern end of Lake Washington, outside of Seattle. 2 game-winning goals, leads this team in goals, assists, points, second in the conference in both assists and shots on goal. And she's number 6 all-time at Colorado in total points. And she's only a junior.
And she's speedy. You can see it right there from the throw-in. She brings speed. She hustles. She will put some pressure on UCLA. She's a versatile playmaker. Versatile in terms of Dani Sanchez also being able to put her in a number of different places. And how about her being able to come off the bench and make an impact? Fresh legs.
We have completed 33 minutes. No score, but this game is now picking up speed. It's getting a little pacey now. We're not playing much in the middle third. Kowalski has space and can see the field in front of her. Gets it right back. Kowalski's going to tee one up and try to thread it.
No turn, no turn.
Lavruski. Jenkins, 1v1. Head shoulder move, and guess who knocked it away?
Well, I just like what Heather Ward just did too, is UCLA had the ball, and it looked like they were going to try to get the ball in the box, and Taylor Smith was there, but Heather Ward quickly backpedaled to make sure that she wasn't going to let Taylor Smith have any extra room.
Ward, Hune, Origel, all playing really well on the back line, and Amanda Cromwell in the offense for UCLA continues to try to find a way to break through.
Look up, see it.
UCLA's only been shut out one time. That was against Long Beach State. I believe that was the season opener for UCLA.
Here you are again, Kate Sheely. So here's what happens. If you have a big leg and you're a keeper, you're oftentimes going to be brought up to take these free kicks.
Well, everybody stand at the edge of the 18, and she's going to put it inside the box and let them go get it. Headed away. Bree Hooks chopped it with the left foot. A bit hopeful. A lot of traffic there. Alex Hune. That's a big ball. It carried 60 yards.
Stop.
Pappalardo couldn't control, gives it back over to the Bruins. And UCLA's going to the bench. Lauren Caskey and Gabby Miranda coming in, part-time starters. Caskey scored twice. Miranda scored against Wisconsin.
Good to have Miranda back and healthy, too. She missed several games.
6, I think.
Yeah, returned October 9th after an injury. She was Pac-12 Player of the Week in Week 2 of this season, so we know that she can play, and really a team in UCLA that missed her while she was out.
Whenever I think of Miranda this year, I think of the backline save she made against Wisconsin. It was a big save for the Bruins. Happened a long time ago, but if you saw it, it's hard to forget. Colorado is going to bring in Erin Greening, another Californian. She's from Piedmont. She, too, has a couple of goals, and they were both game-winning goals for the Buffs.
And she, too, like Miranda for UCLA, has been injured. Struggled to get back after the injury, but she's been making her way back in match by match. Dani Sanchez hoping that the more playing time she gets, the better that she's going to become, and part of that is just a bit of confidence.
Oh, Jenkins. 2 collisions in a row. The first with Origel, the second with Morgan Stanton.
Play on the first foul, so we know you saw it. That's all you got to do. Play on.
Drop, Zoe, drop.
I was wondering if Victor Rivas, our referee, was giving the advantage to UCLA, letting them play through that first foul to see if she could continue on. And that's why he didn't call it. All right, so here's Here's Jenkins. She gets bumped once. He lets her play through that, and then here's the second collision. But I think the second one's a 50-50 ball. I mean, that's tough for UCLA not to get a call there.
Wow, yeah, that's exactly what I was just about ready to say, is that's tough no call.
But if he lets the first one go because he's expecting advantage for UCLA, then the second one's 50-50. Can you make that second call? You know, Stanton certainly had a right to that ball because it was off of Jenkins' foot. I don't know, we're 150 feet away here, so.
Yeah, it's hard. And even on the replay, though, you see she got, I mean, to me it looked like a foul. Clear-cut foul that should have been called.
Either one, right? That's too strong. Out of bounds. Goes over to UCLA. Coming up at halftime, Katie Boggs is in the studio. She'll have some highlights for you. Number 14, California, and Washington also going on tonight. And the Sports Report update. Katie Boggs in San Francisco coming up at the break. The Pac-12 Soccer Halftime Report. 39th minute. Play 45. Evans right at the edge of the 18. Eventually was dispossessed and knocked down.
Tried to lay it back to Bree Hooks, too. Nice idea.
Get there, Emo, get there. Get going.
Beautiful step.
Catch the ball, you can pretty much do whatever you want. That's a grab.
Yep.
That was easy to see.
Frustration, too.
Lauren Caskey was held.
I like the effort there. A big step to be able to take the ball away from UCLA. And she had a lot of field. That's Madison Krauser there. Steps it up and look at the field. And she beats UCLA's Lauren Caskey. She's got some room. Caskey gets back. And then Madison Krauser grabs Caskey's foot and says, all right.
Well, you know Krauser's going to join the attack. Now, we talked about it at the top of the show. She's transformed this year. She was part of the attack last year. Now she's been asked to help shore up that back line. But you're talking about a player in Krauser who's got 15 career assists. It's number 4 all-time at Colorado. So she doesn't get up there as much as she used to, and maybe that's where the frustration came from.
It's just so nice for Danny Sanchez to have a player that can move from the attack, to be able to go to the back line if that's where this team needed her, and they did, but that she is so dynamic that she can push so forward and actually be creative and create, play make, and be a scoring threat as well.
Lovrusky always looks so beautiful in the open field with that ball, just runs loose with it.
Something about the way that the texture that she plays on the ball, and the way that, you know, her feet play with the ball. I mean, it really is. It's smooth finesse.
Long strides, and she just kind of swerves through the defense. Alvarado cuts it back to her right foot.
No turn, no turn. Step to watch right.
Miranda lays it out left side. Whistle comes offside. And that ends the attack. 41st minute now. UCLA's 2-3-1 in conference. Colorado is 1-4-1.
I like that little combo play there in the middle of the field by UCLA. I thought they made short, quick passes, keeping the ball away from Colorado's defense that was trying to take pretty good shape, but they were quick enough, and then they took the ball out wide. They had some space in the middle, took the ball out wide, and unfortunately, that offsides call gives Colorado the chance.
Takeaway by the Bruins. And cautiously forward. Vidger knocked it away from Lovrusky. Alex Yoon back to Sheely, the keeper. Evans, that would have been a tough collection. That was chest high, and it was a rocket.
Greening is covered for Colorado. She is covering a lot of green right now, trying to put a little pressure on that back line of UCLA, who's relaxed, and they're just working the ball along the back line. The two center backs for UCLA just taking their time, trying to figure out and read the defense and make their next move.
Was that off a hand? I think it was. Yes. Victor Rivas right on top of it.
Madison Tide grimacing just a bit.
She's played more minutes than anybody else this year for UCLA, so starting to show some of the mileage.
Over 1,200.
I don't know that I've been awake that much. Just over 2 minutes now to play in the first half.
No shot, no shot.
Trying to talk to one of these coaches going off. Let's see what they thought of the first half. Jenkins will turn back. UCLA lost those 9 starters from last year. 7 of those players are professionals getting paid to play right now. That's how good that team was. They were Pac-12 champions. They went 21-1-2. Lost in the quarterfinals to Virginia, which is Amanda Cromwell's alma mater.
Hey, how about Samantha Mewis getting a chance to play with the U.S. women's national team up in Seattle in their victory tour?
Well, Mewis was unbelievable at this level, and you had to figure she was going to percolate up with the national team at some point, right?
Yeah, she's on that victory tour with them. She said it was an honor to be on the same field as players like Shannon Box, who, by the way, had her last go-round there and has retired. And it was just good to see Samantha Mewis. She said Seattle was so much fun, and being able to play with this team. And she played for the Western New York pro team. And speaking of pros and retiring and UCLA, just a big shout out to Lauren Holiday, the former Lauren Cheney, who holds all kind of records here. And she will retire on Sunday when USA plays Brazil in that victory tour in Orlando, Florida in the Citrus Bowl. And Lauren Holiday is a big name here at UCLA for women's soccer. She has joined the team this year a couple times and come over to support them. The team absolutely loves her. And of course, you remember in 2015, she had a big goal in the World Cup.
Every goal in the World Cup's big.
Especially against Japan in the final. There were plenty of them, that's for sure. But Lauren Holiday, women's soccer owes a big debt of gratitude to Lauren Holiday among many other players and what they've done.
Was that the game winner against Japan?
It ended up being the game winner because
5-2 final?
5-2, so it was goal number 3. But what a remarkable...
Yeah, Lauren was at UCLA 06-09.
Yep.
So part of that group that got things turned around. Actually, UCLA was good for a long time. They just couldn't break through until they won that national championship in 2013. And I believe that was 111 for UCLA. They won the water polo championship last year, so they're sitting on 112. And the water polo team will play Cal tomorrow on the network at 10:30 in the morning. And that'll do it for the first half. And we finished the first 45 no score. We're going to try to talk with Amanda Cromwell, the UCLA head coach, as she heads off to the locker room. Kate Shealy, well, she held Stanford scoreless in the second half last week and gets out of Westwood at least to halftime without allowing one in the nets. But there was some interesting times. I think Amanda Cromwell's on headsets with us now. Amanda, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Listen, I know it's been a tough year for you, and you and I talked before, and you're still optimistic. Why do you think the best soccer is still in front of this team?
Well, you see us. We can play really good soccer. We have some problems when we get into the attacking third, just being a little bit more creative. We need sharper movement off the ball, 1-2 combinations, not settling for shots from distance. When we get end line, we get corners. You've seen us be dangerous on set plays. We just have to finish and just be more creative.
Amanda, I feel like Cody Lavruski, she's just about ready to break out. I mean, there's something there, the way that she plays with the ball at her feet. She's very smooth. And what more can you tell us about what Cody can do in the second half to put the ball in the back of the net or make something happen? She's so close, it feels like.
Yeah, Cody's one of the best players in the country. You haven't seen it all year. She hasn't been the most consistent, but when she's on, she's unstoppable, and she can score all different ways. She's a great athlete. She's very skillful. You can see her take a shot from distance, take someone on in the dribble, and that's why we need Cody to be more dominant and want to just run the show.
And of course, we all remember her goal in overtime in the NCAA championship game.
The Golden Girl.
The Golden Girl. Thank you, Amanda. We'll let you get back to work.
All right, thank you.
Hang in there. Amanda Cromwell in her third season at UCLA, sitting on 49 wins, so this would be number 50, but she's not worried about stats. What she's worried about right now, getting 3 points. They got to find a way to put one behind Kate Shealy. We'll talk with Danny Sanchez before the kickoff second half. Colorado.
Good evening and welcome into our San Francisco studios for your Pac-12 halftime report. And happy Friday. That always sounds so good. And speaking of good, let's talk about the players who were great this week. It's your Pac-12 Players of the Week.
Whitteman left side, collects, turns, goes against the green, and goes far side and scores. Oh, Whitteman, what a beautiful play. And California leads 1-0.
Well, I mean, that's just a player making something out of not a great opportunity.
Side with Caitlin Johnson, not wearing a knee brace tonight. Bremer has a flick on, deflected with the right foot. Hannah Stevens getting in the way. Now Crenshaw trying for a cross. Gutlein with the right foot as it's skipping free, right side. She'll play from distance, punching it over the net is Burdett. Corner of the box, sends it in with pace, diving is Burdett for the save, and the freshman is elevating for Arizona.
Roaring in the corner. Indigo Gibson comes over, drops the shoulder.
Great combination up that far flank, all the way into the attacking third, teaming with Flom. Knocked off the ball, Indigo Gibson doing her job defensively.
And let's go to a match that just wrapped up earlier today. Number 14 Cal taking on Washington up in Seattle. That girl, Sarah Scheimer, first career start for the Huskies. 42nd minute, no score. Bringing out Offensive Player of the Week, Samantha Whitteman makes an attempt, but there she is. Scheimer denies her less than a minute later. Cal threatening. But guess who it is again? It's Scheimer. Dives to stop the deflection, and we're scoreless at half. 87th minute, no score. Rachel Wheeler heads it to Kimberly Kiever, who finishes with the one-timer. Watch this. Kiever's 5th goal of the season. Washington goes on to win 1-0. And don't touch that dial, folks. Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week, Gabby Simpson and the Buffs are back in action on the court tonight, taking on number 14 Arizona. You can catch that match on Pac-12 Mountain and Pac-12 Arizona. And we'll get you back out to Drake Stadium shortly, but first, we've got another date together. It's a sports report update coming up next. Welcome back into our San Francisco studios. This is your Sports Report update. Number 3, Utah is riding a 6-0 record. They're the top dog in the Pac-12 South, but this week they're considered the underdog going into the Coliseum. I know what you're thinking. Huh? Even though the Trojans are a 3.5-point favorite, that's not slowing down Travis Wilson and the Utes, who are vying for the program's first win against USC at the Coliseum since 1916. Here's head coach Kyle Whittingham.
Well, we've faced some really good receiving cores several times this season. Is this the best? It very well may be. Juju Smith-Schuster is leading the conference in receiving yards, and he's their go-to guy. He's got, I think, 39 catches and a bunch of yards, and he's a tough matchup. Adoree Jackson comes over from defense and plays some receiver as well, and they got a couple, 2 or 3 other guys, and so it'll be a big challenge for our secondary, but we've been challenged several other times this season. They've responded, so we expect the same this week. We expect them to respond and play well.
Utah and USC will kick off at 4:30 tomorrow, but we're getting Football Saturday started right here on Pac-12 Network at 1, Washington State in Tucson. Thanks for joining.
Back on campus at UCLA, no score after 45 minutes between the Buffs of the University of Colorado and the UCLA Bruins. Danny Sanchez, CU head coach, joins us now. All right, Danny, so counting tonight, 5 games left in the season, and it can still go either way for you guys. Is this your make-or-break weekend?
Well, I think every weekend in the Pac-12, but if you're going to realistically look at it, we need to get some results out this weekend, and we know it's a tough deal on the road, but it's Pac-12 soccer.
Danny, the first 10 minutes or so, UCLA really had you guys playing a lot of defense, but you guys really settled in nicely and started to kind of figure things out. A couple substitutions. You guys got a couple of good looks, a corner kick, and then a great shot by Danica Evans. What more do you need to do in the second half to occupy their half of the field?
Well, that 8x24 thing over there, we need to kick it in there, but it was a great save by their keeper. Great look from Danica, but a great save. So I think as the longer this game's going, it's going to get stretched out. I think there's going to be a lot of more chances for both teams, and we just got to take care of them when we get them. But there's not going to be a lot of them, so we got to take care of them when we get them.
Danny, I always appreciate you keeping soccer simple for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
There you go. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Danny Sanchez in his 4th season at CU, 21 years As a head coach, he's won more than 300 games in the NCAA tournament the last 2 years for the Buffs. Let's take a look at some tape from the first half. There were a couple of really good scoring opportunities. Colorado created some in front of their own net. UCLA almost poached a goal. Watch this back header by Jenkins. And Winter couldn't get her left foot on it. This ball eventually going to come out to the top. That's where Annie Alvarado steps into it, but that ball's rejected as well. This is how close it was.
Papalardo turns and gets her backside on it to get that ball out. Good shot by Annie Alvarado. Here's another one where UCLA wants to get in line. Kate Sheely spills the ball, and a dangerous play there for Colorado.
Darian Jenkins gets called for that foul. You can see her drop on the left shoulder and knocking down Alex Hune. Colorado's back line's been pretty good. This is the best shot for them. This is the one you were talking about before. Evans, couple touches here and steps right into it. Really just one touch and almost buries it in the upper corner.
And Danny Sanchez says, oh yeah, the keeper made a great save, and I agree. Siri Ervik did absolutely great job of making a huge save, throwing that right arm out there. Otherwise, that ball was going in the upper left-hand corner.
Not surprising there's not a lot of numbers here. Colorado, counting the Stanford game, now just has 3 shots in their last, 135 minutes. I was told there would be no math, Tammy. 4 fouls apiece in this one. I like that the referee, Victor Rivas, is letting them play right now. I think he understands the magnitude of this game. For these two teams, they know they're better than their records. It's a big weekend. We're going to get some answers this weekend if these two teams are going to join the hunt. I think he wants them to settle it on the pitch.
Danny told us last week, he just said it again in the interview, we absolutely have to have something that comes out of this weekend. A win would be nice for them because they're going to go over across LA on Sunday and face USC. A very good USC team. So
USC's 5-1.
That's right. It doesn't get easier for them, and they know that right now they played 45 good minutes of great soccer against this great UCLA team that is finding their way, and he said it too. It's not going to be a whole lot of chances. I agree.
Second half has been kind to Colorado this year. They've outscored their opponents 10-3. UCLA, though, in the second half has been amazing. They've doubled their opponents in the second half as well. So both of these teams have gotten better as games have worn on.
This game for Colorado reminds me just a bit of their loss to Oregon. It was a defensive battle. The backlines both held strong for both of those teams, and certainly Colorado did not create as many opportunities or chances as they needed to. And then they went on to lose to Oregon State, and Danny Sanchez was the first to say all credit to Oregon State. They had their chances to put them away. They did not, and then they gave up a late goal in the second half. But you can see that Colorado was right there, certainly disappointed with their output, but they are a team that they can compete, they can battle. They've been in so many matches, just lost some close ones.
You saw right there on the kickoff, not only Cody Lavruski there for UCLA, but number 8, Amber Munnerlin gets the start here in the second half. I don't recall seeing her in the first half.
Saw her early on in the non-conference season. She's a transfer from University of North Carolina. Anson Dorrance released her without question, and Amanda Cromwell made the call, made sure that everything was copacetic on that front, and it was.
Well, Munnerlin can play. She's got a couple of game winners this year. She beat Wisconsin. She beat Arizona.
She's a player that really needed to be back here because she just needed to be where she wanted to be, and this is where she wants to be.
That was Munnerlin, got knocked down right there. Now she trots inside the 18. She's a Southern California kid. You mentioned she was at North Carolina, but she comes out of Corona, which is about a 45-minute drive from UCLA, Santiago High School.
First side, no cross! Away! Step back!
A lot of chatter from the sidelines. Here, all the assistants getting involved. The throw in there by Rima Bazia. She played in the first half. We didn't get a chance to talk about her too much, but Bazia is a redshirt freshman and getting more and more time here in the second half of the season for the Bruins.
She's quite the athlete as well, too. She was a high jumper in high school, part of that Olympic development program with the regional teams in 2010 through 2013. Got her first career start against Oregon.
Went to University High School. You know the mascot? The Trojans.
Go ahead. It's all about the Trojans.
Can you do that? You can't wear those clothes when you're walking around this campus, can you? That's the same high school that produced Will Ferrell.
Good one.
There you go.
I think you can. I was at women's basketball practice for UCLA today. I went over to scout, and basketball season is upon us, and I saw Jessica Cheeks playing with the team, and I talked to Pam Walker, the director of basketball operations. I said, who is that from behind? And then she turned around, and I went, oh my gosh, that's Jessica Cheeks, former USC Trojan. I said, Pam, how do you let her into Pauley Pavilion? She goes, hey, she's a practice player, makes us better.
That's right. Well, that's Pam, right? Just getting started in the second half. Jim Watson, Tammy Blackburn. That is Annie Alvarado for UCLA. Bruins are 2-3-1. And Colorado was 1-4-1. And I asked Danny at halftime, make or break weekend. You know, I don't think he wants to say it publicly, but I think we're all thinking the same thing. It's getting late in the year. Colorado's got to pick up some wins.
Both teams do.
Well, both of these teams have to play to their potential, or they're going to get left behind. Now, last year, the Pac-12 had 9 teams invited to the NCAA tournament. I think because they're chewing on each other this year, they're not going to get that number again.
RPI is everything.
Yeah, that's all coaches want to talk about
right.
now. I mean, you like it because it encourages teams to schedule tougher early on. Both of these teams in desperate need of help in that category as well. 82nd, 110th for CU.
Look at the top 6. 10 through 28 RPI. Washington at 28.
Yeah.
What a great season for
Tony
Leslie
Amato
Gallimore.
down at Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
They're 12th. Gallimore is great this year. Washington is, I've been telling people, you know, get on the Washington bandwagon. That's a good soccer team. They're young. I think they're going to get really good as we go into the tournament. I don't want to over project. I think Washington could make some noise in the tournament this year.
Oh, they absolutely can. There's absolutely no doubt.
UCLA.
They're a team that plays by committee. They don't have a go-to player, but they share the ball real nicely. I mean,
that makes them tough to defend, I think, and scheme against.
I think Amanda Perez is an excellent player. Shannon Simon. I love Kelsey Hodge. I mean, there's so many different pieces to that Washington team that I really enjoy watching. Of course, the goalie Kufeld is just fantastic.
Well, and last year they went deep in the tournament as well. I think it was second or third round last year.
They lost to Stanford in the third match of the NCAA tournament on Stanford's home field, so a Pac-12 foe. But they did host in the NCAA weekend, and they will play Stanford this weekend. It's a Washington team that beat this UCLA team that we are seeing right here.
It was Taylor Smith, by the way, who just went down and is slow to get up. She looks like she's trying to walk it off. Maybe just got the wind knocked out of her. Alvarado wanted to go to the corner. Doesn't look like Smith wants to run right now. Still trying to shake it off. Let's see what happened. Here she is, 2 defenders. Something got up and bit her foot. Went down hard. Those numbers are modest, the 2 goals and the 2 assists, but remember she has missed 5 games. And this is only their 15th of the year tonight. Chipped up by Sarah Kinsner. Alvarado playing it out wide. It's a nice move. Look at the speed. Taylor Smith just running by people. She can turn a back line into a picket fence. She is so fast, and you know what it is? It's the first step she explodes. Here's a nutmeg to get it started.
Yeah, nobody likes to get nutmeg, but she's done that a couple times this year. She's just so smart, and then just watch. I mean, she's just direct with her speed.
How can she run faster with the ball at her feet than most people can just run?
There's a couple players in this conference where their speed is actually quicker.
There's another good move and buries it. Right on cue. And finished it with the left. 1-0 Bruins.
It's Amber Munnerlin who scored that goal. Number 8 for UCLA. And I know that Munnerlyn and Taylor Smith look alike, and of course they both wear headbands and they're both speedy, but that goal was all number 8 for UCLA, Amber Munnerlyn.
Well, we talked about Munnerlyn at the start of the second half, put in for offense, and look at her run right through. There's a nutmeg, and then it's the left foot finish, far post.
I mean, that's a clinical finish. It's a great start from the throw-in. A very nice job by the transfer from North Carolina, the junior.
And that's her third of the season. The other two have been game winners. And right now UCLA leads 1-0, 52nd minute.
And now UCLA, they want to continue to press. Take another look from a different angle, and you see that was just an absolute beautiful finish. You could see the keeper, Kate Sheely, trying to make a read, and
I thought it was a great finish by Munnerlyn with the left. You know, Sheely's probably waiting for her to tap it back to her right side so she gets her a step early. And then she actually went to the keeper's left. I thought she got it right underneath the right hand. Quick strike, and UCLA is 5-1-1 when scoring first. Colorado, when allowing the first goal, is 2-5-2. So now everything tilts in UCLA's favor, but here's a corner for Colorado.
Yeah, they can be dangerous here. I mean, this is Joss Origel. She is great on these set pieces.
Left footer goes back post, and UCLA touch it, so now we should have a corner on the opposite side. That is just a great move by Munnerlyn, and then, see, she had her head up. She saw the keeper commit and left that side open, and for UCLA, a nice moment in a frustrating season.
She saw the space between the near post and Kate Sheely, and she put that ball low on the ground. Clinical finish with the left foot. It's almost like she just was making a pass to that near post, and that's exactly what you want to do. Just don't get too excited.
Origel again. He's trying to find Emily Paxton right outside the 6.
Get up! Hey!
Back to midfield, and they'll play back to Sheely, who's going to turn everybody around.
Boy, look at Sheely make a play for Colorado inside the 18, basically.
Headed away by Haley Mace. Claire Winter slow to get up. Joins the fray again, and Kowalski is going to collect this ball by herself in the corner. It's tough to figure out this year, Tammy. Arizona came in here ranked in the top 15 a couple weeks ago. UCLA beat them 5-1, and it was 5-0. Then UCLA goes up and gets beat at Oregon State.
There's a collision there, and look at Winter. Her feet get taken out from underneath her with Olivia Papalardo.
Papalardo winning that ball in the air. That's hers.
And Winter was on the ground for just a split second, put her left hand on her lower back, but got up and is playing on. There's Paxton. Oftentimes a target on a corner kick from Joss Origel, a great target. She's reliable. She drilled a shot off a crossbar when I was watching a match against Oregon. So unfortunate they weren't able to score in that game. That was that 1-0 loss to Oregon, but she had a shot off the crossbar.
Here's Origel, looked at her bench twice, and they said go for it. Carries it over the crossbar. Goal kick here for Siri Ervik, the third goalkeeper to start this season for UCLA.
Jess Origel tries to tee it up. I mean, she just has an absolutely great leg. She's from Tustin, California.
Tustin Tillers.
That's right.
Tustin High School. I graduated at Tustin High School, but I didn't go there.
But you didn't go there.
No, because Foothill didn't have their own football stadium. Still bitter about it. Be interesting to see how Colorado reacts. They have not had a lot of success. Nobody on this field has ever beaten UCLA. They're on the road. Numbers are against them. They're down 1-0. They got to get points out of this weekend, Colorado. Colorado's been playing it back to go forward.
I like that header by Evans to try to keep something going.
Christiana Kalkom-Rochikowski with a nice collection and then explodes into the attacking end. Lavruski laying it out wide. They wanted Taylor Smith, but she was well behind it. I tell you, since Taylor Smith went down, she's a step slow now. There she is, 14. It affected her. She's trying to play through it. Just doesn't seem to be the same player last couple of minutes. And that's when Munnerlyn stepped into that space and scored.
Touch right. Man on now.
Rima Bazia.
Look at the speed of Bree Hooks, though. As soon as UCLA tries to turn and use their defense to move the ball up the field, Bree Hooks comes in from behind and they're pressing it.
Oh, Kalkom-Rochikowski, nice move and a great ball. Lavruski trying to make it 2-0 Bruins. It goes wide. Oh, the whole play was made by Christiana Kalkom-Rochikowski, and then she lays it out for Lavruski. You said Lavruski looked like a dangerous player. She had an open goal there and tried to get a little cheeky and just let it run past the keeper and missed by 2 feet.
There have been a couple times this year where Lavruski has just been so close, and here's that play by...
Strong move.
Oh, yeah, just
great
a nice
ball.
through.
Look at that.
Yep. But look at the run by Lavruski. That's exactly what I love about her. It's just the thoughtful run. It started with her heading that ball, and then she makes that run, a great through ball by Kalkom-Rochikowski.
And a good play by Kate Shealy, the Colorado keeper, to come out and force Lavruski into that quick decision.
I mean, was that just an inch off? It just looked like an inch or less.
Grazed the post.
I agree with Amanda Cromwell when she says she's one of the best players in the nation. Cody Lavruski.
She was a number 13 recruit coming out of high school years ago. She had 127 goals in high school. And she's here 2 years, and she scores the game-winning goal in overtime of the NCAA final against Florida State, the only goal of that match. Last year has 7 goals. Excuse me, 2 years ago had 7 goals and has 3 this year. That popped up. Servik couldn't get there, but the whistle count comes in. Might be interference, and they're going to wave it off, and it's going to draw a yellow card as well. Well, you can't hit that keeper. That is no goal. Colorado says, why not? And Siri Ervik is slow to get up. Danny Sanchez says, man, we can't catch a break. See who he books here. This ball popped up. Ervik comes off her line, goes up. Keeper has rights to it. Yeah, the Colorado was saying it was a UCLA player that bumped.
Well,
that's
there's two Colorado players that are sandwiching.
Yeah, they high-load her.
So it looked like Paxton had her elbows right at Suri Ervik's shoulder, and that's what they got whistled for.
All right, we'll see officially who Rivas gives the yellow card to. And they're trying to explain it. Renee Nunez over on that touchline, the referee's assistant, talking to Danny Sanchez and his staff, and you can understand their frustration. In the meantime, here comes Bree Hooks trying to roll the ball inside to Evans, who turns with the left foot and chips it up into the chest plate of Siri Ervik. And she says, let's calm down for a second. It's a lot of drama in the last 30 seconds.
Slow the match down here. You know, Colorado's chipping in here. I mean, they're doing a good job of pressing. They've got some speed. And they know that UCLA is on the scoreboard. They have got to try to find the equalizer.
They were close. Munnerlyn putting on pressure on Shealy.
Come on, Congo, you ready there?
Picked up by Winter. There's Munnerlyn, the goal scorer. The yellow goes to Paxton. You called it. Emily Paxton, yellow card.
Nothing through.
To her in the 61st minute. The goal came in the 52nd minute. Amber Munnerlyn with the left. I don't think we've seen the end of the scoring tonight, Tammy. This game's, the field's a teeter-totter right now. We're going from one end to the other, back and forth.
Colorado certainly doesn't seem to be down and out that UCLA scored. In fact, I think their energy ramped up just a bit, and the sense of urgency for Colorado, I think, has been good. I mean, I think their awareness is good, and they're definitely trying to hold the ball and keep the pressure on UCLA.
Well, look, if you and I know how important this weekend is for Colorado, and Danny Sanchez knows it, the players know.
Yeah, absolutely.
They understand. When they packed their bags out of Boulder, they knew when they came back, their destiny would be sealed coming out of this thing. Kids replace it forward. Oh, chance here. Still a chance. Off the bar. And finally it goes wide. Paxton got the last kick at it.
You have to applaud that effort. There's nothing more that I can do than applaud Colorado.
Papalardo, Evans, they were all involved. That's Papalardo, who got the first look, just running through defenders, right foot, saved by Ervik. And then Evans, it's deflected. Oh, Ervik came back into the play.
Did. It was just brilliant.
That's how it got to the crossbar. I thought it went off someone's shoulder or head, but it was Ervik who came flying back into the picture with their left hand. Oh, what a save. This ball's going to carry to the far post. And whistle comes in, foul on Colorado. UCLA goal kick. How does Ervik get back to this ball? Watch the keeper get up, go to her right, go down to make this first save. Oh, that's the end of the play. It was prior to that. She was out of that play. And raced back into the picture, got her hand up to deflect it up and off the crossbar, or that was going in, and Evans would have got us level.
It is a UCLA team that has seen 3 keepers this year mining the net. Ariel Scheckman, Cassie Sternbach, and now Siri Ervik.
Here it is again. Goes down and makes the first save with the left. Kick save and a beauty. Comes back with the left hand to tip it off the crossbar.
And the reason why she's playing right now and playing as well as she is because her coach, Amanda Cromwell, has a lot of confidence in her. This was a goalkeeper that this coaching staff believed had the potential to start at the beginning of the year. She just needed more game experience. She is getting that game experience, and the reward is paying off.
Well, you weren't going to get any with Kate Rowland here. One of the best keepers in the country. In fact, the only time I can remember Siri playing was in an exhibition game against Texas A&M last year. I think she played not even a 45-minute, maybe half hour in that game. Didn't allow a goal. But you knew Rowland was secure in net. Nobody was really worrying about a backup at that point.
And for good reason. But here's a player in Ervik who doesn't even feel like she's even won the position yet. She's still fighting. And I think for coaches, there's nothing better than having a competitive field, a competitive gym, a competitive swimming pool. No matter what, you're looking for players to compete and practice.
Lavruski with 2 buffs right on her, knocked out. Corner kick for UCLA.
And Ervik has earned this playing time because she has trained well. And this is just my opinion, by today's match, I don't think Amanda Cromwell has a tough decision on who to continue to play.
She's made 3 great saves. The one in the first half on Evans, and she made 2 saves in that sequence. The first one, kick save with the left foot, comes right back to tip it over with the gloves.
I mean, Danny Sanchez pointed it out in the interview what a great save it was by Siri.
That's because he thought it was going in, like a lot of us.
He knows a good play and a great save when he sees one.
Gabby Miranda to take the corner for the Bruins. And now UCLA's got to feel like they need a second goal. Jenkins still there. Jenkins trying to get a right foot on it. Eventually did, deflected away. Now Colorado looks to counter. Bree Hooks. Tried to play that ball forward and hoping that Aaron Greening could run onto it, but the Bruins were back defensively.
I like that Darian Jenkins was tracking and trying to pressure defensively, but she didn't foul. That allowed UCLA to try to get back, and then an empty possession there for Colorado, but now they get the throw in. Looks like it's probably going to be Evans with the flip throw as she goes back to get a little bit of space.
Be aware.
Got to be a tough decision for Sanchez having Evans throw it in, because you'd want her inside the 18. She's so dangerous. You ever try a flip throw, Tammy?
No. And they're for a lot of good reasons, but they're so difficult. Nobody really understands how difficult this is. We're going to show you this right here. You just watch how difficult it is. And Evans is a former gymnast, so it helps. She's got that kind of that
body control,
built-in body control, and she's used to doing the handsprings and
down
things like that.
Down goes Taylor Smith. It didn't look like that big of a push. Morgan Stanton just got her hand on the back, but maybe she tripped her. Watch her feet.
Pushed her from with both hands.
Side left again, Heather. Be right 14 coming in. Matthew 2, right side, Heather.
You can hear the call from the sideline. But another defender was coming in. Just a warn. Bobrovsky defensively. They're trying to run Morgan Stanton off that ball, but she pulled up. UCLA's had really good shape defensively here in the second half. And it's funny in a game how if you score, all of a sudden your defense seems to play better as well. Because now they're just defending that lead.
Confidence breeds confidence.
Yeah. Turn back was Alex Hune. Colorado's been given that middle third by UCLA. The defense just pulls back a little bit. Stand out at midfield. Try to pick their entry. Kinzer, head and shoulder, far post, wide.
Yeah, that's a really good look, and certainly she's trying to put the ball on the foot of Evans, who was making a nice run inside the 18 there. A little patient, allowing that run to happen.
Don't forget on Sunday, we're going to see the same CU team, Bray Hooks, Madison Krauser, just down the road, 11 miles from here, over at USC. Coverage begins 11 o'clock on the Pac-12 network, or watch Pac-12 now, pac-12.com. Colorado, number 24, USC.
11 miles and 3 hours in traffic.
Yeah, sometimes it's
so
shorter.
Get your start early, Jim Watson.
Shorter to walk.
We need you there.
Take the metro.
I'll take a pedicab.
LA actually has a train. Nobody knows about it.
Let's go, Bucks. Energy talking.
69th minute. Lots of soccer in front of us.
Squeeze up, squeeze up. You are right, floor nice to me, right?
Miranda's had an effect on this game as well, number 7 for UCLA since she came in. The midfield has been kind of settled down here for the Bruins.
You know, that's what she brings to the field. She's composed on the ball. She's got that U20 experience. She's great at starting the attack for UCLA, and that's what you love about her. I mean, it is a team that missed her when she was gone.
Hooks was calling for that ball, trying to get around the corner. Into the 70th minute, and substitution. Madison Krauser coming out, Vidger coming back in. They made that same switch in the first half.
You don't have to go so tight.
Remember, you can re-enter in the second half for soccer. You cannot re-enter in the first half, but you can in the second half, and you're going to need Krauser probably at the end of this one if the score stays the same. I thought Vidger did a good job, though, in the first half when she came in. Good, strong player.
Kinsler, nice ball forward to Evans. Mace had it knocked off her foot. And that's a foul on Colorado. Danica Evans should have scored in the first half. Siri Ervik made a great save, came over and parried that ball away from the upper corner. Still 20 minutes, though, to decide this one. Colorado just one win in conference. The Bruins have 2. Everybody chasing Stanford. Unbeaten at the top of the table. Ranked number 4 in the country, the Cardinal.
Be right, 2, Bree,
UCLA's played a lot of one-goal games. 10 of their 14 coming in. And it looks like Mackenzie Serta's going to come back into this game. Played an awful lot in the first half. And Taylor Smith's coming out. Tammy, is it me or does Taylor Smith look different since she went down on that collision?
It's hard to tell. I can't really make a read on what's going on in her mind. I mean, she didn't necessarily look any slower to me. I can't tell if it's frustration, and I don't certainly want to speculate, but I think this is a really good substitution because Cromwell's always been pleased with Serta and her performance.
Jenkins had that come off her foot, was trying to load up. So what you're saying is it's me.
I'm not saying it's you.
That's okay. It's been me before. It'll be me again. Here they come. Evans head up, ball on her feet, ponytail flying. Switch it to the far side. Vidger stumbles. No foul.
Two things that I like about what's happened since UCLA has scored. Colorado did not hang their head. They are playing. In fact, I thought they boosted their energy, and that sense of urgency and their awareness was good. But UCLA also battling. They're not settling. They understand and recognize that CU is a very, very good team, and this game could easily be tied up, especially with the chances that CU had inside the 18.
You saw Paxton just came back in. She's the one who had the yellow card in the 61st minute, going for that ball and knocking into the UCLA keeper, Ervik. I think Colorado's got just a tiny bit of desperation in their game right now, but if I'm Danny Sanchez, I like that. I don't want to wait till the 80th minute. Let's go now. You got to know your season's, it's hanging on this weekend.
I also think this bodes well for UCLA. They definitely need the win. They're looking for 10 wins. They have to win out. But I think it's the growth and the maturity and the development that has to happen for UCLA right now, because let's say they get their 10 wins and they're going to the tournament, they have got to be ready for a tough NCAA tournament. This is the growth that Amanda Cromwell has been looking for.
Jenkins takes on two. Thinks better of it, retreats back, gives it to Miranda inside the center circle. Just over 17 minutes to play. Bruins up 1-0. Amber Munnerlyn, the goal in the 52nd minute. Again, UCLA is 5-1-1 when they score the first goal of the match. And Krauser's coming right back in for Colorado.
There's that re-entry that we talked about. A good job by Danny Sanchez to just get Krauser a little hydrated, a little fresh legs. That's all she needed, was just a little bit of a break. Got to have her, though.
Madison Taylor Krauser, named after her grandfather, who was the U.S. ambassador to Haiti. See, you learn something every time you work with me, huh, Tammy?
I do. You are an over prepper, Jim Watson.
That's one word for it. Serta takes it back to the edge of the 18. Could never get a shot off. Colorado folded that defense back inside. Lavruski pops it up. Shealy stayed anchored on the line. Offside.
Nice ball play, good idea. I like the diagonal cross on the opposite side. Lavruski gets called for the offsides, but I still think that there's a player right there that is just so close. And I think down the stretch of this season, Cody Lavruski is going to be one of those keys to UCLA.
Do you have her in your fantasy league?
You know what? I wish there was a fantasy league because she'd be one of my first picks.
I would too. She's just dangerous. Is she one of those players, when she has the ball at her feet, you sense something's about to happen, or at least it could?
But you know what's interesting? I don't ever hear anybody around the nation talk about Cody Lavruski. She's so underrated.
Well, remember, she played on that all-star team last year, and even though she scored the game-winning goal in the national championship game in 13 coming back last year, you had so many big names on that team that somebody was going to play in the shadows, and it was Lavruski.
She is the coolest person that her teammates, at least that's what they...
Is that right?
Yeah, they say, like, she's the coolest person. And if you want to get to know Cody Lavruski a little bit more, go to the UCLA Bruins athletic website.
Evans flip throw to the edge of the 6. Nodded back in, and again, Siri Ervik able to squeeze it wide. Never got a good handle on it, but knocked it outside the post. She's been tested.
This is what you love about a flip throw. A flip throw is basically a set piece. They are dangerous, and this is why. They can throw the ball inside the 18 and make things happen. They have targets. That's exactly what Danica Evans was looking for, trying to create a little bit of chaos inside the 18 with that throw.
That was Vidger who tried to knot it home. Short corner, near post, trying to get it to Hooks. And we asked Danny Sanchez at halftime why Bree Hooks, the leading scorer on this team, 4 goals, 5 assists, why she didn't start. He said just trying to mix things up. Well, she's in there now, and here's the corner, Joss Origel. Kid who grew up in Southern California coming home and almost bent it in, and now it is knocked in. Evans, and we're level at 1. Colorado breaks through. Well, we told you the scoring wasn't done.
Colorado was pressing. I think their energy was good. I felt like this is a Colorado team that knew, as you see Siri just misplays it. She tries to bat it out, and she bats it up on the crossbar.
Well, it's a great corner by Origel, right?
Yeah, it's a great corner. It looked like it hit the crossbar first, and that's why Ervik could not play it. There's really nothing she could do at that point.
We're tight. Head on the shoulder.
And taken down in the box. Yes! And that's going to be a PK for UCLA. Oh, and Colorado can't believe it. Heather Ward is there pleading the case, and Victor Rivas says, don't want to hear it. I made my call, and it's final.
I want to tell you right now, Annie Alvarado is going to take this PK.
Well, this could be quick for UCLA to come right back. The co-captain looking for her 3rd goal of the season.
This is an absolute no-brainer right here. Annie Alvarado's your gal.
Alvarado to give UCLA the lead. Got it.
She's 3 of 3 now from PKs. What I like about that, I don't know if you saw this, but Annie Alvarado, as soon as they knew that they were getting the PK, Annie Alvarado went right over to the end line and grabbed the ball with authority. We're going to show you this play here and how it happened.
I mean, from that angle, it looks like a foul. You can't take somebody off their feet like that. That's Claire Winter on the run, and then here's the PK. Shealy is late, even though she guessed right. You know, Winter, I don't ever think saw the defender, and all of a sudden just got knocked over. Just got spilled.
Just like how Annie Alvarado ran over and knew exactly that was going to be her ball, her play, her PK, and she was going to put the ball in the back of the net. An unfortunate circumstance for CU.
Well, Colorado did it once. Can they do it again? Come from a goal down to get even. Paxton lays it out. Bree Hooks. Cross to Evans. Popped up. Cervic makes sure of this one. It's the PK. You just want to be sure, right? Put it close to the post. Make the keeper come up with a big save. Bruins back in front. So we were tied for less than a minute. Twelve and a half minutes to play. Both teams have gotten more and more dangerous as this match has worn on, but didn't we say at halftime they were both second half teams?
You did, and I agreed, and I just really have enjoyed this second half. I mean, I think it was a little quiet in the first half. Both teams were settling in and trying to figure things out, but it has been active. There have been a lot of shots. There's been a lot of action inside the 18. Chances for both teams.
Hooks cuts it back, left foot, now back to the right. Just a bit too strong. And knocked away by Miranda. It'll be a Colorado throw-in. right at the long jump pit. Drake Stadium, of course, was built as a track stadium, and it's got to be the best track stadium in Southern California. That's the steeplechase hurdle. You can see it right there, so it limits the run up here for Evans on the flip throw. Goodness, that ball was left right at the top of the 18, inside the line. Evans again will get another throw, and UCLA cannot do that. They cannot reject that ball and leave it right in the top of the slot. If somebody steps in and one times it, we're going to be tied again.
Well, Evans continues to just flip throw in a very dangerous ball. The first one was inside the goal box. The second one right at the edge.
There's the foul from behind. Easy call.
That's on Munnerlyn. Munnerlyn goes down, so Colorado's going to pick up the foul.
Into the 80th minute now. Munnerlyn got the lid lifter tonight, but UCLA 1-0 in the 52nd minute. Danica Evans got us even for Colorado in the 76th, and then less than a minute later, Annie Alvarado completes the PK after Claire Winter was taken down in the box.
And Colorado is not done. Look at this flurry here that they're causing. I mean, they're throwing the ball in, they're taking corner kicks, you've got flip throws.
They're playing fast
They are
now.
playing fast. They are trying to put pressure.
And it's going to get a little wild here in the last 10 minutes. Colorado's going to have a chance to even this game again.
They are making UCLA work hard.
There's Krauser picking that one up. Krauser against Alvarado. Zoe Kowalski comes over. Krauser taking on two. Still had the ball at her feet. And it rolls out. UCLA takes over. Taylor Smith is coming back. That's a good sign. She got a little attention from the training staff when she came out. But whatever it was, it's not serious. Serta out, Smith in. Allows the clock to run just a bit here. Here goes Mackenzie Serta to the UCLA bench. Serta had the game-winning goal against Oregon in that 1-0 win, and the goal came in the 9th minute.
Stay tight.
UCLA now just wants to extend possessions. They don't have to score. Taylor Smith, midfield, looking to play it backwards. Alvarado. Miranda. So you want to hear a lot of people touching it. Clock runs the whole time. Smith, a free run. Circles back. Claire Winter. She's the one who drew that PK. Right now that stands as the game-winning goal. Eight minutes and change now to play. UCLA wins. Get the record even in conference at 3-3 with a draw. Put them at 10 points. And they can start trying to climb that ladder. But I'll tell you what, UCLA going to play Utah here on Sunday. They have a road trip at California, at Stanford, and then close the season here against the rivals USC.
Yeah, just a tough end of the schedule for UCLA.
It's brutal, and SC plays the same thing, just the flip side of it. Popped up, Shealy comes out to punch it away. Now has to come back and pull it down out of the air. Out to midfield, but with a lot of air under it.
Rena, where you going, girl?
Stay high, stay high.
And what you're thinking if you're Colorado is you're only going to get maybe 4 or 5 possessions. That was out of bounds. That ball went out of bounds, so play was stopped. And it might have been a second goal for Munnerlyn, who was very opportunistic. She saw the trouble, anticipated the pass back. Munnerlyn would have scored in an open net.
Hey, girls, back up! Back up!
Still going to go to UCLA, and all this time running off the clock, under 7. And Lavruski's coming back in for the Bruins.
Down the line. Let's start Taylor down the line.
going to throw it down in the corner. Throw it away from your goal. Have a 1-goal lead, clock running. Just over 6 minutes to play.
Help out. Go away.
Vidger knocked it away for the Buffs. There's Bree Hooks. Kinsner.
Kidner was waiting. She was waiting for a couple teammates, trying to look and see what was going to happen. Meanwhile, Cody Lavruski, an all-out absolute sprint back to try to track and play some defense. Good hustle. Colorado still pressing. I am still impressed with the fight and the battle that this Colorado team has. They are not giving up.
They're fighting for their season, Tammy.
Absolutely, they are.
Get there, Amber. Keep going.
Taken away by Jenkins. Claire Winter is cut down right in front of the official, and he's going to the pocket. And I think that's a good call. He's going to book Heather Ward, so that's 2 yellow cards now on Colorado. And Ward obviously just trying to create a possession here for her team, but came in pretty hard on Claire Winter now. Remember, Winter was taken out hard in the box that led to the PK. So,
and she took a hit earlier, too, where she got upended. Her feet came off the ground, and she landed flat on her belly. Was
Winter's
holding her back.
Be black and brewing blue when this thing's over. Taylor Smith turns. Round defenders. Almost got loose.
They're going to try to play it back to Lavruski.
Smith had it run off her left foot. Couldn't pull it back in. Trying to fake left and pull it back to the right foot.
Colorado keeping very good shape. The Bruins are calling for the handball here.
Is it? No. Oh.
Off the left hand.
Maybe. That was right in front of the UCLA bench. And a push. And that's not a good play for Colorado. Okay, so the foul came with 85:05, and look at the time running. And UCLA still has the possession. All this time runs. Madison Ty stands over it and lets it go. So Tammy, almost 25 seconds, and it's still running. UCLA burned 30 seconds on that foul with the ball not in play. Now it's taken away, Kinsner, and that's smart play. I'll check it. It was Alex Vidger.
Well, certainly UCLA, they played that short ball and that free kick. You don't want to get burned on the counterattack. You don't want Colorado player to step up and make a run right up the middle. A smart play there. And this UCLA that's trying to protect this very delicate 1-point lead.
I don't know why she's
Madison Ty sends it right back down. Again, UCLA's not trying to score. They're just trying to keep the clock running. Under 4 minutes. Bruins up 2-1. Lavruski wins it. Going to take it to the corner and stand on it. Couldn't keep it in. Colorado throw in. 3.5 minutes left.
Everything's safe. Everything's safe. All right? Everything. Don't miss.
Coming back in, Aaron Greening. Freshman has been good. Vidger out.
Yeah, thank you.
Jenkins and Lavruski yells, hold it.
Yeah, they're just going to try to hold. Everything has to stay in their half of the field right now for UCLA. They do not want.
They gave it up to Krauser, and then right back. Winter, Lavruski, and Winter got knocked down again, and it was Evans, I think. And that's a card. Now check it, it's Hune, Alex Hune, another yellow card, and again it's Winter.
Gabby!
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Why is everybody shooting at Claire Winter tonight? And Winter's in a lot of pain.
Well, she has taken a beating. I mean, she has been absolutely remarkable on the pitch here tonight.
you can make an argument that Winter's been their most valuable player tonight.
I mean, she's just been everywhere, hustling, making stops.
Here she is. Lovrowski tries to give her right back to her, and you saw Hughes step into her path and just hit her in the chest and knock her down.
She threw an elbow at her.
Yeah, that deserved a card.
Yes.
Watch Hune. Don't watch the ball here. Watch the runner. Boom. Now, how much of that is she entitled to? Hune, she can stand in place and she can protect herself, but she can't deliver a blow.
Well, it felt like she lunged forward, threw her elbow up. I mean, I think Hune's lucky that she didn't get ejected from this game, quite honestly.
Yeah, it was an aggressive play, and Winter's going to walk to the bench. Remember, UCLA has to come back on Sunday to play Utah. It's on the Pac-12 net, 1 o'clock. USC and the same Colorado team on at 11, just before. Winter's explaining what happened. She's saying that's what she's supposed to do, is stand and protect herself, and she didn't do that. Hit me right in the chest.
Everything out, first and second.
Alex Hune, who got booked, has actually played a really good game for Colorado, and maybe just a little frustration getting the better part of her. Again, Bruins just want to get the clock running. Hold on to that ball. Jenkins keeps it in, back to Alvarado. And Colorado is not pressing. Lovrowski knocked out. UCLA keeps it.
Hey, Taylor, just shoot back this way. Don't let him counter. Still trying to kill them. All I can do is.
And you heard the instructions from the UCLA bench. Just don't let them counter.
And that's what I mentioned earlier. They want to keep the ball in this half of the field. They don't want that ball to go over the center field line. Everything has to stay on the Bruins' feet where it is right now.
I think that was Josh Walters, the assistant coach for UCLA, who yelled it out. That's all they're worried about. They got enough. 2-1 lead. There he is. Josh always right there at the right hand of Amanda Cromwell. I think Colorado's just tired. They're fatigued. They can't win the ball.
They have played a great match. This has been a great match. A battle of two teams that are fighting for their seasons, both much-needed wins. I have to tip my hat to Colorado. UCLA is likely going to walk away here with the victory, and I thought that UCLA did a nice job. It helped that they got on the board early. But then when Colorado scored, they came right back. And you saw that from both teams today.
Come on, Jess, around her, yes, Jess, that's us.
45 seconds to play.
Hey, stay out! No! Stay out! Zoe!
Stay there!
Zoe!
Stay there!
Zoe, stay out!
Rima, stay! Rima, where are you going? Rima!
Rima, back up!
Back up, Rima!
UCLA is going to go to 7-7-1 overall, 3-3-1 in the Pac-12.
Well, it feels better on both accounts, doesn't it? They get back to 500.
Yes.
10-second count is on. UCLA is going to beat Colorado 2-1, and the Bruins are 3-3-1 in conference, and they live to play another day.
UCLA has Buffalo, Colorado.
Well, for the Bruins, who won 21 games last year, it's different expectations with this team, and for now it's got to be enough. Amber Munderland got UCLA going with a goal in the 52nd minute. Annie Alvarado ends up with a game-winning goal on the PK earned by Claire Winter, UCLA 2-1.
I think it's a team for UCLA that, they're going through their growing pains. That's been made very clear to a lot of people out there. But the thing that they're doing is they're growing. They're getting better for next year, for the end of the season. They are not giving up on this season. They had to get a win today. And this is a team that is looking for a player to step up at any given time. It's not just Darian Jenkins. It's not just Taylor Smith.
So UCLA now moves from 7th into a tie for 6th. Actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. UCLA is 6 by themselves now with the 10 points. So UCLA will be back here on Sunday against Utah. 1 o'clock again. Colorado has to go home, think about things. They'll be in the hotel, and then go over to USC on Sunday. We have that one. Kickoff is at 11 o'clock. For Scott Ferrier, your producer, Jeff Butler, your director, for Taylor Kokich, our stage manager, and my partner, Tammy Blackburn, I'm Jim Watson saying so long from Westwood, where UCLA outlasts the Buffaloes of Colorado. The final score, 2-1.